So everyone could please stand up and move forward, please. Thank you.
Just come forward.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulanda Ki Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauritai Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Prachadine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Asadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanda ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Prakacharya Astatar, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Avded Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Mayapur Navdeep Dham ki jai, Shri Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai, Shri Ayodhyapuri Dham ki jai, Shri Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Tulsi Devi ki jai, Samvet Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I request everyone to be seated, please, for a short Nrsimhade prayers. Thank you. Namaste Nrsimhaya. Namaste Nrsimhaya. Prahlad-daine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shiladankanakalaye. Ito Nrsimho parito Nrsimho. Yato yato yamitato Nrsimho. Bahe Nrsimho hirdaye Nrsimho. Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kar Kamalavare Nakha Adbuna Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakha Adbut Nashinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare Jayo Narsinghadev Jayo Narsinghadev Jayo Narsinghadev Jayo Narsinghadev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल श्री श्री गोकुलन भगवान की जय भगवान सीताराम लक्ष्मण जानकी हनुमान जी की जय भक्ति वेदन मनोर धाम की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
So Hare Krishna will be serving Mahaprasadam in the Sri Krishna Valley very shortly, so please come and take Mahaprasadam before we leave. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnava Vangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajayatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitan Bhajasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhajasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhajate Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita
Hare Krishna, everybody. We're going to continue now in the temple room with some prayers and some reading from this wonderful book called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I'd like to remind everybody that this is a sacred space. Yes, this is the altar room of the deity. When we come into this room, it is a special opportunity to observe quiet. Quiet means simply hearing and discussing about the Lord, His name, His form, His qualities, and His pastimes. This is quiet. So, those of us that are in the temple room, that's what we're here for. This is our purpose. And this is a wonderful purpose, because by hearing about Krishna, then we can actually fulfill the mission of human life. This human life is a great mission. The mission is to become liberated from the conditions of material existence. And what does that mean? That means to enter the spiritual world, where we can meet with God face to face and live with Him and enjoy an intimate, loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is the mission of human life. And for this purpose, we have so many wonderful books that allow us to hear. And by this hearing, we become awoken. Just like when someone is asleep, The only sense that allows them to wake is the hearing sense, the ear. You can wave a very colorful flag in front of a sleeping person, they will not wake up. You can place something near them to smell, that will not wake them. But you say a few words or you clap your hands, yeah? And they will stir. So just as a sleeping person is awoken by sound, so our spiritual consciousness, our spiritual realization is awoken by hearing all about Krishna and all topics related to him. And we have many, many topics related to Krishna. So, for 5 minutes, I'm just going to offer some prayers, and then we will begin reading from this book, which is very special. Okay. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Isham Ishavataraka Tat Prakasham Shatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samjnakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoritao Gauraraye Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudao Yadadvaitam Brahmopanishadi Tarapyasya Tanabha Yat mantaryami purushiti sosyam shavibhava Sharaishvaryay purno yaiha bhagavan sasvayamayam Nachaitanyat krishnat jagati paratatvam paramya Anarpita charim chirat Karunaya vatirna kanau Samarpayatum munatoj Svabhakti shriyam Hari purata sundara dyuti karambasandi pita Sada hridaya kandare spuratuva shachinandana Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Rasmad Ekatmana Vabhivipura Deha Bedam Gatautau Chaitanyakyam Prakatamaduna Tatvayam Chakyamaptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nami Krishna Svarupam Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kitishova Nayaiva Svatyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kitishova Mediya Saukyam Chasya Maranobhavata Kitisham Veti Lobhat Tadbhavadya Samajani Shachi Garbha Sindhu Harindu Sankarshana Karana Toyashayi Garbhodashayi Chapayobdishayi Sheshaschayasyam Shakalasa Nityanandakirama Sharanam Mamastu Mayatite Vyapi Vaikuntaloke Purnashvarye Shri Chaturvyuhamadhye Rupam Yasyodbhati Sankarshanakyam Tam Shri Nityanandaramam Prapadye Maya Bharta Janta Sangha Shrayanga Shete Sakshat Karanam Bhoti Matye Yasyakam Shri Pumana Devas Tam Shri Nityanandaramam Prapadye Yasyam Shamsha Srila Garbhodashayi Yannabhyajam Lokasanghatanalam Loka shashtu sutikadhamadatus tam Shri Nityanandaramam prapadye. Yasyam sham sham sha paratma kilanam poshta vishnur bhati duktaptishayi kshauni bharta yat kala sopyanantas tam Shri Nityanandaramam prapadye. Mahavishnu Jagatkarta Mayaya Sarjatyara Tasyavatara Evayam Advaitacharya Ishvara Advaitam Harinadvaita Acharyam Bhakti Samshanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyam Ashraye Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jayatam Surata Pangur Mamamanda Matergati Matsarvasvaparam Pojao Ratamandana Mohana Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpatrumadha Srimad Ratna Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devau Prishtalibi Sevyamanau Smarami Srimad Rasarasarampi Vamshivatatastita Karshan Venu Svanar Gopir Gopinata Shristuna Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Etina Thakur Goriyake Kariyachena Atmasat Etinera Charana Vandong Tine Moranata Grantera Rambhe Kari Mangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Tinera Smarana Hoya Vigna Vinashana Anayase Hoya Nija Vanchita Purana. So this is not an it's not a formal lecture, it is an informal narration. Informal meaning that people may come and go, but we're in a relaxed way just reading about Krishna. And if anybody has any thoughts that they want to share as they hear, or even any question, then we can discuss. Yeah? Entirely up to you. And if there's nothing you want to say, and nothing you want to ask, fine. I just keep reading and sharing whatever comes to me. So this is chapter 34, and it's called Vidyadhara, liberated, and the demon Shankachuda, killed. So these are the pastimes of Lord Krishna. We just finished discussing the rasa dancing of Lord Krishna with his gopi, cowherd girlfriends. Yes? And how the Lord and the damsels of Vrajabhumi enjoyed dancing together. Krishna was only 8 years old at that time. It was not possible for him to have any lusty intentions while dancing with young girls. Yes? Their relationship, their conjugal relationship, was on the platform of pure transcendental love. No tinge of mundane lust. Yes, so chapter 34. Once upon a time, the cowherd men of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj, desired to go to Ambikavana to observe the Shiva Ratri ceremony. So Nanda Maharaj is Krishna's father, right? You all know that, I'm sure. So they wanted to observe the Shiva Ratri ceremony. The Rasa Leela was performed during the autumn, and after that, the next big ceremony is Holi, or the Dola Yatra ceremony. Between the Dola Yatra ceremony and the Rasa Leela ceremony, there is an important ceremony called Shiva Ratri, which is especially observed by the Shaivites, or devotees of Lord Shiva. Sometimes the Vaishnavas also observe this ceremony because they accept Lord Shiva as the foremost Vaishnava. Right? Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Krishna, the greatest devotee. But the function of Shiva Ratri is not observed very regularly by the bhaktas or devotees of Krishna. Under the circumstances, Srimad Bhagavatam states that Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men once upon a time desired. This means that they were not regularly observing the Shiva Ratri function, but that once upon a time they wanted to go to Ambikavana out of curiosity. Ambikavana is somewhere in Gujarat province, and it is said to be situated on the river Sarasvati. Yet we do not find any Sarasvati river in Gujarat province, although there is a river named Savarmati. In India, all the big places of pilgrimage are situated on nice rivers, like the Ganges, Yamuna, Sarasvati, Narmada, Godavari, and Kaveri. Ambikavana was situated on the bank of the Sarasvati, and Nanda Maharaj and all the other cowherd men went there. They very devotedly began to worship the deity of Lord Shiva and Ambika. It is the general practice that wherever there is a temple of Lord Shiva, there must be another temple of Ambika or Durga, because Ambika is the wife of Lord Shiva and is the most exalted of chaste women. She doesn't live outside the association of her husband. After reaching Ambikavana, the cowherd men of Vrindavan first bathed themselves in the river Sarasvati. If one goes to any place of pilgrimage, his first duty is to take a bath and sometimes to shave his head. That is his first business. The first business. After taking a bath, they worshipped the deities and then distributed charity in the holy places. According to the Vedic system, charity is given to the Brahmanas. It is stated in the Vedic Shastras that only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis can accept charity. The cowherd men from Vrindavan gave the Brahmanas... The cowherd men from Vrindavan gave the Brahmanas cows decorated with golden ornaments and beautiful garlands. The Brahmanas are given charity because they are not engaged in any business profession. They are supposed to be engaged in Brahminical occupations, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Namely, they must be very learned and must perform austerity and penances. Not only must they themselves be learned, but they must also teach others. Brahmanas are not meant to be Brahmanas alone. They should create other Brahmanas also. If a man is found who agrees to become a Brahmana's disciple, he is also given the chance to become a Brahmana. The Brahmana is always engaged in the worship of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, the Brahmanas are eligible to accept all kinds of charity. But if the Brahmanas receive excess charity, they are to distribute it for the service of Vishnu. In the Vedic scriptures, therefore, one is recommended to give charity to the Brahmanas, and by so doing, one pleases Lord Vishnu and all the demigods. Right, so the Brahmanas have 6 occupational duties: yajana, patana, dana, pratigraha. They have to engage in sacrifice for the pleasure of God, and they have to engage others in sacrifice for God's satisfaction. And in this age of Kali, yeah, this is a question for you. What is the number one sacrifice that we are recommended to perform in this age of Kali? Right? Harinam Sankirtana, yes. Nama Sankirtana Yajna. This is the sacrifice for this age, prescribed by Krishna himself when he appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every yuga, in every age, an incarnation of the Lord comes to establish the Yuga Dharma, the religious process for the age. In the Satya Yuga, it is silent, peaceful, contemplative meditation. Satya Yuga endures for over 1.2 million years. Then in the Treta Yuga, this last Treta Yuga, which lasted, 1.2 million. Sorry, Satya lasts more than 1.6 million. Treta, this past Treta Yuga, lasted for 1.2 million years. And in that age, great fire sacrifices are the prescribed religious activity. Then Dwapar Yuga, which lasts for over 800,000 years. Elaborate deity worship is the supreme means of sacrifice in that age. We do some deity worship here, yes, according to the regulations of the Shastras, right, in order to fix our mind on the form of the Lord. But in the Dwapar Yuga, such deity worship was performed at a much greater scale, yes, with so many more costly ingredients. And then 5,000 years ago, the age of Kali began, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And how long does it last for? It lasts for 432,000 years, over 400,000 years of Kali Yuga, of which only 5,000 have passed. And in this difficult age of increasing vice and decreasing virtue, there is one sacrifice recommended, because we are so poor in many ways. It is not possible to sit down for very long and engage in the effort to find God in the heart by meditation. Nor do we have we don't have any credit in chanting accurately all of the Vedic mantras necessary to worship the Lord in the form of the fire sacrifice. Nor do we have very costly ingredients to elaborately worship the deity as required. So there is one sacrifice that makes up for all of our lacking, and that is the sacrifice of loudly chanting Krishna's holy names. Everybody has a voice box, a tongue, ears, and everybody can, at any place and at any time, take part in this sacrifice of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is great sacrifice. And when we come together to loudly chant these holy names, then we are actually performing the Yuga Dharma, established by the Supreme Lord Himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very simple method, and very sublime. Simple and sublime. It is simply a question of doing it, coming together and agreeing to do it with faith, based on the fact that this is recommended in the Shastras and recommended by all spiritual authorities. No expenditure. Simply come, sit down, chant together with a mridanga and kartals, and dance. And when you feel a little tired, have something to eat. Have some Krishna prasadam. And as much as possible, we can continue this chanting and dancing and feasting. And to convince us to take this up, we have so many books. full of wonderful philosophy and wonderful descriptions of Lord Krishna and his devotees and their pastimes. So in this way we can spend all day engaged in sacrifice for the pleasure of Krishna. So the Brahmana's duty is yajna, sacrifice, and engaging others in this sacrifice of Nam Sankirtana Yajna. Patana. The Brahmanas would also study the scriptures and teach the same to anyone who is sincere to hear. And Dana Pratigraha. The Brahmanas, they were qualified because they're so busy engaged in the service of the Lord, then they are the right recipients of charity, and they would spend that charity for Krishna's service. And they would distribute also, distribute that wealth for the benefit of others. So yajna, patana, dana, pratigraha. These are the occupational duties of the Brahmana section of society. And we may say, well, where is the Brahmana section of society? Well, like every other section of society, they exist, just not in an organized form. The Brahmanas are the intelligentsia. Yes, and that intelligence is meant to be engaged in learning all about Krishna and teaching others all about Krishna. That is the proper use of intelligence. So those persons that are occupationally inclined to engage their intelligence for the majority of the day, then they should be engaged in the intellectual activities of glorifying Krishna. All of our educational establishments should simply be concerned with establishing the supremacy of God in every field of life. Physics, politics, economics, sociology. In every walk of life, we should be concerned with understanding Krishna, Krishna's energies, and glorifying Him. So the Brahmanas receive charity on behalf of the Lord, practically. And by giving charity to the Brahmanas, then the Lord is pleased. So Nanda Maharaj and all of the cowherd people of Vrindavan, they had gone on this pilgrimage to Ambikavana to honor Shivaratri. The pilgrims take a bath, worship the deity, and give charity. Has anyone here gone on pilgrimage and performed these things? Taken a bath, then worshipping the deity, then giving in charity? Have we had this experience? Yes? They are also recommended to fast one day. They should go to a place of pilgrimage and stay there for at least 3 days. The first day is spent fasting. And at night they can drink a little water because water does not break the fast. The cowherd man headed by Nanda Maharaj spent that night on the bank of the Sarasvati. They fasted all day and drank a little water at night. This book is called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, it's a very special book. It's essentially the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh yes, yeah. Hare Krishna. So they fasted all day and drank a little water at night. But while they were taking rest, a great serpent from the nearby forest appeared before them and hungrily began to swallow up Nanda Maharaj. Nanda cried out helplessly, "My dear son, Krishna, please come and save me from this danger. This serpent is swallowing me." When Nanda Maharaj cried for help, all the cowherd men got up and saw what was happening. They immediately took up burning logs and began to beat the snake to kill it. But in spite of being beaten with burning logs, the serpent was not about to give up swallowing Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Krishna appeared on the scene and touched the serpent with his lotus feet. Immediately upon being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, the serpent shed its reptilian body and appeared as a very beautiful demigod named Vidyadhara. His bodily features were so beautiful that he appeared to be worshipable. There was a luster and effulgence emanating from his body, and he was garlanded with a gold necklace. He offered obeisances to Lord Krishna and stood before him with great humility. Krishna then asked the demigod, "You appear to be a very nice demigod and to be favored by the goddess of fortune. How is it that you performed such abominable activities that you got the body of a serpent?" The demigod then began to narrate the story of his previous life. "My dear Lord," he said, "in my previous life I was named Vidyadhara and was known all over the world for my beauty. Because I was a celebrated personality, I used to travel all over in my airplane. While traveling, I saw a great sage named Angira. He was very ugly, and because I was very proud of my beauty, I laughed at him. Due to this sinful act, I was condemned by the great sage to assume the form of a serpent. One should note here," Srila Prabhupada comments, "one should note here that before being favored by Krishna, a person is always under the modes of material nature, however elevated he may be materially. Vidyadhara was a materially elevated demigod, and he was very beautiful. He also held a great material position and was able to travel all over by airplane." Right? It's not as if the Wright brothers discovered airplanes. Airplanes were existing long ago for a long time. They've always been there because they're part of Krishna's creation. So this Vidyadhara held a great material position and was able to travel all over by airplane. Yet he was condemned to become a serpent in his next life. Any materially elevated person can be condemned to an abominable species of life if he is not careful. It is a misconception that after reaching the human body, one is never degraded. And this is an important instruction for us, isn't it? The human form of body is very precious because in the human form of life, one has an opportunity to get out of the material world. One has an opportunity to go back to Godhead, to reestablish one's relationship with God. That is not ordinarily possible in any other species. The cats and the dogs are not coming to the temple to hear and chant ordinarily. Occasionally you might find one or two interested, but generally not. Human form of life affords this special opportunity to learn about God and to come back to God. But if one does not use the human form of body intelligently, then there is a chance of being degraded again into lower species. So we should be careful. Vidyadhara himself stated that even though he was a demigod, he was condemned to become a serpent. But because he was touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, he immediately came to Krishna consciousness. So if we're fortunate enough to be touched by Krishna's lotus feet, then we can immediately come to Krishna consciousness. He admitted, however, that in his previous life he was actually sinful. A Krishna conscious person knows that he is always the servant of Krishna. He is most insignificant, and whatever good he does is by the grace of Krishna and the spiritual master. The demigod Vidyadhara continued to speak to Sri Krishna. He said, "Because I was very proud of the exquisite beauty of my body, I derided the ugly features of the great sage Angira. Right, so he was very proud. And in his pride, he could not appreciate the qualities of others. Actually, he was envious. And then a non-envious person would have no need to deride anyone else for their qualities. Rather, a non-envious person is the friend of everyone. And he is not falsely puffed up by some temporary material acquisition. So this Vidyadhara had become very proud of his temporarily attained beauty. Yes? But that was not enough for him. He still had to put down someone who was not beautiful. I mean, if you're actually beautiful, what is the necessity of deriding or putting down someone that you see as not beautiful? Why do you need to do that? This material world is full of envy. Huh? Someone who's beautiful, they want to attempt to demonstrate how beautiful they are. And sometimes they do it by deriding others. Why? It's simply envy. Simply the desire to place oneself in a greater position. But if you're actually in a greater position, you don't need to attempt to prove it. You can afford to be kind to others if you're actually in a higher position. There should be no difficulty being kind to others who are more unfortunate. Therefore, he says, in my previous life I was actually sinful, because envy is sinful. He said, because I was very proud of the exquisite beauty of my body, I derided the ugly features of the great sage Angira. He cursed me for my sin, and I became a snake. All right, snakes are very envious. Now I consider that this curse by the sage was not at all a curse. It was a great benediction for me. Had he not cursed me, I would not have assumed the body of a serpent, and would not have been kicked by your lotus feet, and thus freed from all material contamination. So even though we may be cursed by a devotee of Krishna, if we're so fortunate to be cursed by Krishna's devotee, that curse actually becomes a blessing. We saw this earlier in the description of how the two demigods, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, were cursed by the sage Narada Muni. They were also very proud of their position as demigods. So Narada favored them. By cursing them, they were cursed to become trees. But not ordinary trees. They became trees in the courtyard of Krishna's father. And then when Krishna was a baby, he liberated them from their tree bodies. So being cursed by a great sage or devotee is actually a blessing in disguise. Not that we should go looking to be, not that we should go seeking out such curses, doing something offensive or abominable in the hope of being cursed. No, rather, no need. Do something to try and get their direct blessing. That would be better. Otherwise, you'll end up having to waste so much time in some serpent body or tree body. Skip the tree body, skip the serpent body. Get the blessing immediately by seeking to please such a sage, such a devotee. Srila Prabhupada continues, in material existence, 4 things are very valuable. Okay, let's hear. What are the 4 things very valuable in this material existence? To be born in a decent family. To be very rich. To be very learned. And to be very beautiful. These are considered to be material assets. Right? Born in a decent family, very rich, very learned, very beautiful. Unfortunately, without Krishna consciousness, these material assets sometimes become sources of sin and degradation. Right? One becomes intoxicated, carried away by such assets. Right? Practically, one becomes ass-like as a result of these assets. Just bewildered, foolish. And then one loses them. So, therefore, it is necessary to be careful and to become Krishna conscious and to realize that whatever assets I have, they are Krishna's gift and they must be engaged in Krishna's service. Despite Vidyadhara's being a demigod and having a beautiful body, he was condemned to the body of a snake due to pride. Therefore, from this incident, we can learn that those who are too proud of their material assets or who are inimical toward others are degraded to the bodies of snakes. A snake is considered to be the most cruel and envious living entity, but those who are human beings and are envious of others are considered to be even more vicious than snakes. The snake can be charmed or controlled by mantras and herbs, but a person who is envious cannot be controlled by anyone. And so an envious, devious person who is hell-bent on being cruel and giving trouble to others is worse than a snake. My dear Lord, Vidyadhara continued, now, since I think I have become freed from all kinds of sinful activities, I am asking your permission to return to my abode, the heavenly planets. This request, Prabhupada continues, this request indicates that persons who are attached to fruitive activities, desiring promotion to the comforts of higher planetary systems, cannot achieve their ultimate goal of life without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vidyadhara asked the Lord, right, he had this request. He said, since I think I have been freed from all kinds of sinful activities, right now that you have touched me with your lotus feet, I am asking your permission to return to my abode, the heavenly planets. This request indicates that persons who are attached to fruitive activities, desiring promotion to the comforts of higher planetary systems, cannot achieve their ultimate goal of life without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Krishna sanctions everything. Whatever it is we desire, only Krishna can sanction it, actually. He is the Supreme Controller, and He is in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. Yes? And this Supersoul is the overseer of everything. And He also permits, or does not permit, our actions and their results. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita that the less intelligent want to achieve material benefits and therefore worship different kinds of demigods, but that they actually get the benedictions from the demigods through the permission of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So even though someone may worship some demigod to get something in this material world, it is actually Krishna that sanctions any benefit, any boon, any result, any reward. The demigods are not independent. They can only supply the reward to their worshipper if Krishna, Vishnu, allows. Otherwise, they cannot. Therefore, it is improper to equalize the demigods with Lord Vishnu. Yes? There are so many demigods. None of them are equal to Lord Vishnu. The greatest demigods are Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. And they also are not equal to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu alone and His expansions are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All others are His servants. They may be very well-positioned servants, but servants nonetheless, servants of Vishnu. Demigods have no power to bestow material profit. Even if one is attached to material benedictions, he should worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and ask Him. Krishna is completely able to give even material benedictions. There is a difference, however, between asking material benedictions from the demigods and asking them from Krishna. Right? So here Prabhupada and Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita recommends, if there's something you want, really, you should go to Krishna. But there will be a difference. What's the difference going to be? Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead for a material benediction. But when he actually achieved the favor of the Supreme Lord and saw Him, he was so satisfied that he refused to accept any material benediction. The intelligent person does not worship the demigods or ask favors from them. He directly becomes Krishna conscious, and if he has any desire for material benefit, he asks Krishna, not the demigods. And the result will be that in worshipping Krishna for whatever it is you want, you will simultaneously become purified of all material desire. So that when the time comes to receive your benediction from Krishna, you will be like, actually, I was stupid, I was foolish, why did I worship you for this thing? This is not what I need at all. What do I need? I need you, Lord. I need only you. That was Dhruva Maharaj's realization. He worshipped Krishna for a kingdom. And as a result of worshipping Krishna, he saw the Lord face to face. Yeah, he realized Krishna in his own heart, and that same Krishna manifested outside to Dhruva Maharaj's external vision. And when he saw the Lord, he realized that this was the jewel that he had been seeking, actually. He said, I was searching for some broken pieces of glass, right? That was my father's kingdom. My grandfather's kingdom. The kingdom that I was after. That's what I wanted. That's why I came to you. For a kingdom greater than anyone. That was like searching for some broken pieces of glass. But now that I have attained you, my Lord, I have achieved the most invaluable jewel. Yes, there's no comparison. So this was his realization. Krishna gave him the kingdom anyway, also. The Lord is very kind. But Dhruva Maharaj accepted that kingdom. And not in the spirit of, yes, now I'm the king, I will enjoy this kingdom. No, he had been purified by his devotion to the Lord. And he accepted all the gifts of the Lord as prasadam, or Krishna's mercy. And he remained fixed in his position of Krishna's servant. He accepted the kingdom in the spirit of, I am Krishna's servant, and it is my duty to maintain this kingdom in service to the Lord. So this is the difference. You get two for the price of one if you worship Krishna. Right? Krishna will deal with your material desire, and you will get something special, some bonus. But it's not a bonus, it's the real thing. Everyone's worshipping demigods for something material. They may eventually get their thing, but it won't last, because everything in this material world is temporary. Nothing lasts here. The demigods themselves are temporary. How can they bestow any permanent blessing? How can they bestow any permanent gift? All gifts achieved by worshipping the demigods are temporary. You'll lose them, and when you lose them, you'll cry. So what kind of a gift is that? Give me something that I will ultimately lose and have to cry over. That's not much of a gift, is it? Therefore, those who worship the demigods, Krishna says, are alpamedasa. They're less intelligent. But if you worship Krishna, you'll get something eternal, something permanent. You get a relationship with Krishna. And Krishna is eternal. And you will be eternal. So the intelligent person does not worship the demigods or ask favors from them. He directly becomes Krishna conscious, and if he has any desire for material benefit, he asks Krishna, not the demigods. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts at this point? We have half an hour left before the official Bhagavad Gita class. Anybody? Anything? No? I'll keep reading, if not. Okay. Vidyadhara, awaiting Krishna's permission to return to the heavenly planets, said, "Now, because I have been touched by your lotus feet, I am relieved of all kinds of material pangs. You are the most powerful of all mystics. You are the supreme. You are the original, supreme personality of Godhead. You are the master of all devotees. You are the proprietor of all planetary systems. And therefore I am asking your permission. You may accept me as fully surrendered unto you. I know very well that persons who are constantly engaged in chanting your holy name attain release from all sinful reactions. And certainly persons who are fortunate enough to be personally touched by your lotus feet are freed." And this is a very interesting thing that this Vidyadhara has said. And when did he say it? 5,000 years ago, at the beginning of this Kali Yuga. And in the Kali Yuga, the recommended process of self-realization, as we said earlier, is the loud congregational chanting of Krishna's holy names. Chanting of Krishna's names. So Vidyadhara says here that I know very well that persons who are constantly engaged in chanting your holy name attain release from all sinful reactions. Right? What to speak of being personally touched by Krishna's lotus feet? If one constantly takes the holy name of God on one's tongue, one can be freed from all the reactions of sinful life. So who will refuse to take up this chanting of Krishna's holy names? Who will not take it up, knowing that I can be relieved of all suffering conditions, now and in the future? If we think it up carefully, we will very seriously take up regularly and constantly chanting of Krishna's holy names. And we have a very wonderful mantra for that purpose, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Always chant. No loss, only all gain. He says, therefore, I am sure that I am now relieved of the curse of the Brahmana simply by seeing you and being touched by your lotus feet. In this way, Vidyadhara got permission from Lord Krishna to return to his home in the higher planetary system. After receiving this permission, he circumambulated the Lord and offered his respectful obeisances unto him. And then he returned to his heavenly planet. Thus Nanda Maharaj was relieved of the imminent danger of being devoured by the snake. The cowherd men who had come to execute the ritualistic function of worshipping Lord Shiva and Ambika finished their business and prepared to return to Vrindavana. While returning, they recalled the wonderful activities of Krishna. By relating the incident of Vidyadhara's deliverance, they became more attached to Krishna. They had come to worship Lord Shiva and Ambika, but the result was that they became more and more attached to Krishna. Similarly, the gopis worship the goddess Katyayani to become more and more attached to Krishna. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that persons who are attached to worshipping demigods like Lord Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and Chandra for some personal benefit are less intelligent and have forgotten the real purpose of life. But the cowherd men, inhabitants of Vrindavana, were no ordinary men. Whatever they did for Krishna. If one worships demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to become more attached to Krishna, that is approved. That is approved. So we say, don't be foolish and try to worship the demigod for your personal benefit. But you can worship a demigod for Krishna's service, to become more attached to Krishna. Then it's approved. If one worships demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to become more attached to Krishna, that is approved. But if one goes to the demigods for some personal benefit, that is condemned. So either we can be condemned or approved, depending on why we approach the demigod. If we approach the demigod for Krishna's business, Krishna's service, that is approved. You're safe. But if you approach the demigod for some personal, separate purpose, that is condemned. After this incident, on a very pleasant night, Krishna and his elder brother Balaram, who are inconceivably powerful, went into the forest of Vrindavana. They were accompanied by the damsels of Rajabhumi, and they began to enjoy their company. The young damsels of Raja were very nicely dressed and anointed with pulp of sandalwood and decorated with flowers. The moon was shining in the sky, surrounded by glittering stars. The breeze was blowing, bearing the aroma of malika flowers, and the bumblebees were mad after the aroma. Taking advantage of the pleasing atmosphere, Krishna and Balaram began to sing very melodiously. The damsels became so absorbed in their rhythmical song that they almost forgot themselves. Their hair loosened, their clothes slackened, and their garlands began to fall to the ground. At that time, while Krishna, Balaram, and the damsels were so much absorbed, almost in madness, a demoniac associate of Kuvera, who is the treasurer of the heavenly planets, appeared on the scene. I'm going to read that sentence again. At that time, while Krishna, Balaram, and the damsels were so much absorbed, almost in madness, a demoniac associate of Kuvera, the treasurer of the heavenly planets, appeared on the scene. The demon's name was Shankachuda, because on his head there was a valuable jewel resembling a conch shell. Just as the two sons of Kuvera had been puffed up over their wealth and opulence and did not care for Narada Muni's presence, this Shankachuda was also puffed up over material opulence. He thought that Krishna and Balaram were two ordinary cowherd boys enjoying the company of many beautiful girls. Generally, in the material world, a person with riches thinks that all beautiful women should be enjoyed by him. Right? I have the money, so I should get the girls, all of them. Right? It is my right. I've got the money. So he thinks. Shankachuda also thought that since he belonged to the rich community of Kuvera, he, not Krishna and Balaram, should enjoy the company of so many beautiful girls. He therefore decided to take charge of them. He appeared before Krishna, Balaram, and the damsels of Raja and began to lead the girls away to the north. He commanded them as if he were their proprietor and husband, despite the presence of Krishna and Balaram. Being forcibly taken away by Shankachuta, the damsels of Vraja called out the names of Krishna and Balaram for protection. The two brothers immediately began to follow them, taking up big logs of shala wood in their hands. Don't be afraid, they called to the gopis. We are coming at once to chastise this demon. Very quickly they reached Shankachuta. Thinking the brothers too powerful, Shankachuta left the company of the gopis and ran in fear for his life. But Krishna would not let him go. He entrusted the gopis to the care of Balaram and followed Shankachuta wherever he fled. Krishna wanted to take the valuable jewel resembling a conch shell from the head of the demon. After following him a very short distance, Krishna caught him, struck his head with his fist and killed him. He then took the valuable jewel and returned. In the presence of all the damsels of Vraja, he presented the valuable jewel to his elder brother Balaram. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 34th chapter of Krishna. Vidyadhara liberated and the demon Shankachuta killed. Any questions at this point? Thoughts, comments, reflections, anything? Niet? 9? No? Okay. Chapter 35. The gopis' feelings of separation. The gopis of Vrindavan were so attached to Krishna that they were not satisfied simply with the rasa dance at night. They wanted to associate with him and enjoy his company during the daytime also. When Krishna went to the forest with his cowherd boyfriends and cows, the gopis did not physically take part, but their hearts went with him. And because their hearts went, they were able to enjoy his company through strong feelings of separation. To acquire this strong feeling of separation is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and his direct disciples, the 6 Goswamis. When we are not in physical contact with Krishna, we can associate with him like the gopis, through feelings of separation. Krishna's transcendental form, qualities, pastimes, and entourage are all identical with him. There are 9 different kinds of devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna in feelings of separation elevates the devotee to the highest perfectional level, to the level of the gopis. Okay, so there are 9 different kinds of devotional service. Do we know them? Prahlad Maharaj mentions them. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Right? Hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's glories, remembering the Lord. Yes, then worshipping the deity in the temple, offering prayers to the Lord, carrying out various services for the Lord. Yeah, Padasevanam, right? Worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, serving his instructions, serving his devotees. Considering Krishna one's dearmost friend, entering into friendship with Krishna. And offering everything in one's possession for Krishna's satisfaction. These are the 9 items of devotional service. And the first and most important is Shravanam, hearing, which we are attempting right now. Yeah? Shravanam. So all of these 9 items of devotional service, if we perform them in feelings of separation, right? If we feel that I'm not so fortunate to have Krishna's direct association. Yes, he is enjoying with his devotees elsewhere. I can only think of it in separation while rendering my services. Right? If we are able to perform devotional service to Krishna in feelings of separation, this elevates us to the highest perfectional level, to the level of the gopis. Our spiritual masters have said, don't try to see Krishna. Don't try to take Krishna's association. Rather, try to act in such a way, behave yourself in such a way that Krishna will want your association. Krishna will want to see you. So we may be feeling separation from Krishna, but we should continue our service to Krishna, feeling separation, wishing for his company. And in this way, we will come ever closer to him. It is stated in Srinivasacharya's prayer to the 6 Goswamis that they left the material opulences of government service and the princely status of life and went to Vrindavan, where they lived just like ordinary mendicants, begging from door to door. But they were so much enriched with the gopis' feelings of separation that they enjoyed transcendental pleasure at every moment. Similarly, when Lord Chaitanya was at Jagannath Puri, he was in the role of Radharani, feeling separation from Krishna. Those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should always feel separation from Krishna, worship his transcendental form, and discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastimes, his qualities, and his entourage, and his association. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. Feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. This is a very important passage. And let's not miss it. This is Srila Prabhupada's instruction for everybody who comes to this disciplic succession, for everybody who comes to this ISKCON society and accepts Srila Prabhupada as their teacher and wants to apply those teachings in one's own life. Then let's not miss this instruction. It's very salient and full of deep meaning. He says, those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, of which this ISKCON society is in, right? We should always feel separation from Krishna. Right? Feel separation from Krishna. Worship his transcendental form. And discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastimes, his qualities, and his entourage and his association. Discuss all of these things. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. Right? We don't need to go anywhere else to get anything. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. Feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada again is telling us we should always feel separation from Krishna, worship his transcendental form, and discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastimes, his qualities, and his entourage and his association. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. The gopis used to discuss Krishna amongst themselves, and their talks were as follows. My dear friends, one gopi said, do you know that when Krishna lies on the ground, he rests on his left elbow, and his head rests on his left hand? He moves his attractive eyebrows while playing his flute with his delicate fingers. And the sound he produces creates such a nice atmosphere that the denizens of the heavenly planets, who travel in space with their wives and beloveds, stop their airplanes, for they are stunned by the vibration of the flute. The wives of the demigods who are seated in the plains then become very much ashamed of their singing and musical qualifications. Not only that, but they become afflicted with conjugal love and their hair and tight clothes immediately loosen. Another gopi said, "My dear friends, Krishna is so beautiful that the goddess of fortune always remains on his chest, and he is always adorned with a golden necklace. Beautiful Krishna plays his flute in order to enliven the hearts of many devotees. He is the only friend of the suffering living entities. When he plays his flute, all the cows and other animals of Vrindavan, although engaged in eating, simply take a morsel of food in their mouths and stop chewing. Their ears raise up and they become stunned. They do not appear alive, but like painted animals. Krishna's flute playing is so attractive that even the animals become enchanted, and what to speak of ourselves." Right, we have to wonder what kind of sound that is, what kind of flute playing it is, that everybody becomes captivated, and even the animals are stunned when they hear the sound of the Lord's flute playing. Another gopi said, "My dear friends, not only living animals, but even inanimate objects like the rivers and lakes of Vrindavan also become stunned when Krishna passes with peacock feathers on his head and his body smeared with the minerals of Vrindavana. With leaves and flowers decorating his body, he looks like some hero. When he plays on his flute and calls the cows with Balaram, the river Yamuna stops flowing and waits for the air to carry dust from his lotus feet. But the river Yamuna is unfortunate like us and does not get Krishna's mercy. The river simply remains stunned, stopping its waves, just as we also stop crying for Krishna in expectation." In the absence of Krishna, the gopis were constantly shedding tears. But sometimes, when they expected that Krishna was coming, they would stop crying. But when they saw that Krishna was not coming, then again, they would become frustrated and begin to cry. This is such a nice sentence. In the absence of Krishna, the gopis were constantly shedding tears. But sometimes, when they expected that Krishna was coming, they would stop crying. But when they saw that Krishna was not coming, then again they would become frustrated and begin to cry. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the origin of all Vishnu forms. And the cowherd boys are all demigods. So just as Lord Vishnu is always worshipped and surrounded by different demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra, Chandra and others, when Krishna travelled through the Vrindavan forest or walked on Govardhan hill, he was accompanied by the cowherd boys. While walking, he played his flute just to call his cows. Just by his association, the trees, plants, and other vegetation in the forest immediately became Krishna conscious. A Krishna conscious person sacrifices everything for Krishna. Although the trees and plants were not very advanced in consciousness, by the association of Krishna and his friends, they also became Krishna conscious. They then wanted to deliver everything, whatever they had, namely their fruits, flowers, and the honey incessantly falling from their branches. When Krishna walked on the bank of the Yamuna, he was seen nicely decorated with tilak on his face. He was garlanded with different kinds of forest flowers, and his body was smeared with the pulp of sandalwood and tulasi leaves. The bumblebees became mad after the fragrance and sweetness of the atmosphere and began to hum. Being pleased by the humming sound of the bees, Krishna would play his flute. And together the sounds became so sweet to hear that aquatic birds like cranes, swans, and ducks were charmed. Instead of swimming or flying, they became stunned. They closed their eyes and entered a trance of meditation in worship of Krishna. One gopi said, "My dear friends, Krishna and Balaram are nicely dressed. with earrings and pearl necklaces. They enjoy themselves on the top of Govardhan Hill, and everything becomes absorbed in transcendental pleasure when Krishna plays on his flute, charming the whole created manifestation. When he plays, the clouds stop their loud thundering out of fear of disturbing the vibration of his flute. Instead, they respond with mild thunder and so congratulate Krishna, their friend. Krishna is accepted as the friend of the cloud because both the cloud and Krishna satisfy the people when they are disturbed. When the people are burning due to excessive heat, the cloud satisfies them with rain. Similarly, when people in materialistic life become disturbed by the blazing fire of material pangs, Krishna consciousness gives them relief like a cloud. The cloud and Krishna, having the same bodily color also, are considered to be friends. Desiring to congratulate its superior friend, the cloud poured not water but small flowers and covered the head of Krishna just like an umbrella to protect him from the scorching sunshine. One of the gopis told Mother Yashoda, "My dear mother, your son is very expert among the cowherd boys. He knows all the different arts of how to tend the cows and how to play the flute. He composes his own songs, and to play them he puts his flute to his mouth. When he plays, either in the morning or in the evening, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Brahma, Indra and Chandra, bow their heads and listen with great attention. Although they are very learned and expert, they cannot understand the musical arrangements of Krishna's flute. They simply listen attentively and try to understand, but they become bewildered and nothing more." All of these demigods are so qualified in so many ways. I mean, they must know so much about the musical art in their own right. But they cannot understand the musical arrangements of Krishna's flute. They simply listen attentively and try to understand, but they become bewildered and nothing more. Another gopi said, "My dear friends, when Krishna returns home with his cows, the footprints of the soles of his feet, with flag, thunderbolt, trident, and lotus flower, relieve the pain the earth feels when the cows traverse it. He walks in a stride which is so attractive, and he carries his flute. Just by looking at him, we become lusty to enjoy his company. At that time, our movements cease. We become just like trees and stand perfectly still, unaware that our hair and clothes are loosening." Krishna had many thousands of cows, and they were divided into groups according to their colors. They were also differently named according to color. When he would prepare to return from the pasturing ground, he would gather all the cows. As Vaishnavas count 108 beads, which represent the 108 individual gopis, so Krishna would also count on 108 beads to count the different groups of cows. Right, so if anybody asks us, why do you chant your japa on a round of 108 beads? Yeah? We can say that these 108 beads represent the 108 individual gopis of Krishna. And Krishna also would count on 108 beads to count the different groups of cows. When Krishna returns, he is garlanded with tulasi leaves. A gopi described him to a friend. He puts his hand on the shoulder of a cowherd boy friend and begins to blow his transcendental flute. The wives of the black deer become enchanted upon hearing the vibration of his flute, which resembles the vibration of the veena. The vibration of Krishna's flute resembles the vibration of the veena. The deer come to Krishna and become so charmed that they stand still, forgetting their homes and husbands. Like us, who were enchanted by the ocean of the transcendental qualities of Krishna, the she-deer become enchanted by the vibration of his flute. Another gopi told Mother Yashoda, "My dear mother, when your son returns home, he decorates himself with the buds of the kunda flower, and just to enlighten and gladden his friends, he blows his flute. The breeze blowing from the south creates a pleasing atmosphere because it is fragrant and very cool. Minor demigods like the Gandharvas and Siddhas take advantage of this atmosphere and offer prayers to your son by sounding their bugles and drums." Krishna is very kind to the inhabitants of Rajabhumi, Vrindavana, and when he returns with his cows and friends, he is remembered as the lifter of Govardhan Hill. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the most exalted demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva come down to offer their evening prayers, and they accompany the cowherd boys in glorifying the qualities of Krishna. Transcendental pastimes and activities were remembered by the gopis during his absence from Vrindavana. They give us some idea of how attractive Krishna is, not only to human beings, but to all animate and inanimate objects. In Vrindavana, everyone and everything is attracted to Krishna, including the trees, the plants, the water, and animals like the deer and cows. That is the perfect description of Krishna's all-attractiveness. The example of the gopis is very instructive to persons who are trying to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. One can very easily associate with Krishna simply by remembering his transcendental pastimes. Everyone has a tendency to love someone. That Krishna should be the object of love is the central point of Krishna consciousness. By constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and remembering the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, one can be fully in Krishna consciousness and thus make his life sublime and fruitful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 35th chapter of Krishna, the gopis' feelings of separation. So now it's just after 6 p.m. and we are going to have Bhagavad Gita class. I'm just going to set up the seat just in front of me here in the center, and if all of you during that time can face the speaker. Yes, we're also going to put a barrier just along the back wall there so that those who come in specifically for Darshan can do so without interrupting the class. Okay, so we'll just set up for a couple of minutes and then we'll begin the Bhagavad Gita class. Hare Krishna.
So
Pardon?
Faster class.
Yeah. Did you come here much? Yeah. Oh yeah? Wow. Okay. Do you know the song, Jai Radha Madhava? Maybe you'll recognize it when we begin. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jayanitai Gaur Premanandi Haribol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories unto the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verses 9 to 10. And in the madness of my life, I overlooked that I was supposed to give class today. But anyway, it's a good job that the screen tells me. So, chapter 6, text 9 to 10. Chapter 6 is about the Ashtanga Yoga system, the mystic Ashtanga Yoga system, that Arjuna finally says that this is not possible for me. But Krishna tells him that by suitable practice and detachment, then one can fix the mind on me, on the Lord. But this specific Ashtanga Yoga system, which originally was entitled Sankhya Yoga, in the first edition of Bhagavad Gita. This system is impractical in this day and age. The system of yoga recommended in this day and age is the culmination of any yoga system. It is Bhakti Yoga. And how is Bhakti Yoga performed in this day and age of Kali Yuga? The best way of performing Bhakti Yoga is by hearing and chanting all about Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes. And specifically when we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, this is the most simple and sublime means of performing yoga. Yoga means to connect with the Supreme Lord. The result of the mystic Ashtanga Yoga system is to realize the Lord in one's own heart, to see for oneself the Supersoul residing in one's own heart. That is the fruit of perfection in the Ashtanga Yoga system. What is popular in modern yoga societies and meetings and studios is simply one element of that ancient system. Asana, maybe some pranayam, but without having a clear objective to fix the mind on, to meditate upon, then how can one conceivably perform the proper other limbs? How can one perform them properly? Pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. One must have a clear conception of meditation, a clear object to fix the mind on. If one does not know what is the ultimate objective, then how can one fix the mind? So the ultimate objective, the ultimate object to fix the mind on is Vishnu, the Lord, right, who manifests with 4 hands holding the conch shell, the lotus flower, the club, and the disc. And the origin of all of these Vishnu forms is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who is himself speaking this Bhagavad Gita. He is the teacher of yoga, the original yoga teacher. He said in the beginning of the 4th chapter that I instructed the supreme science of the relationship between the living entity and the Lord to the sun god, Vivasvan, millions of years ago. And from the sun god it has come down to human society. But in course of time the succession was broken, and therefore it is necessary to re-establish. So Krishna says, I come, yuge yuge sambhavami, dharma samstarpanartaya. I come again and again, millennium after millennium, to re-establish the principles of religion. And therefore he is speaking this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because Arjuna is a devotee and Krishna's friend. Therefore he is the right person to receive Krishna's message, because without being a devotee of Krishna, it is not possible to understand Krishna. Several times in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord tells Arjuna, because you're never envious of me, because you're my friend, because you're my devotee, I'm going to reveal everything to you. I'm going to teach you who I am and how to get me. But the Lord reserves the right of not being known to others who are envious of him. He does not reveal himself to those who have no attitude of devotion. So, chapter 6, texts 9 and 10. So we'll go word by word. Please repeat after me. Surhin. Can you try that? Surhin. Hare Krishna. I should probably get the keyboard and try to get the text up on the screen, but I'm sat here now, so we'll just have to make do. Good, yeah. Mitrari. Mitrari. Udasina. Madhyastha. Dvesha, Banthushu, Sathushu, Api, Cha, papeshu samabudhir vishishyate. Okay. Suhin mitrar yudasina madhyasta dvesha bantushu sadhushva picha papeshu samabudhir vishishyate. Translation. A person is said to be still further advanced when he regards all, the honest well-wisher, friends and enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial, with an equal mind. So all of these personalities, he regards them all with an equal mind. I'll read it again. A person is said to be still further advanced when he regards all, the honest well-wisher, friends and enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial, with an equal mind. How can one do that? One can do that when one understands that whatever attitude anybody has toward me, whether they're a friend or an enemy, whatever they may be, actually, everyone is a soul, a part and parcel of Krishna, and they are eternally Krishna's servant. And thus no one is really my enemy, yes? No one is really my worldly friend. They are just playing parts, playing roles, like actors on a stage, giving me the results of my own karma, my own previous activities. Okay, text 10. Let's try to do this word for word again, yeah? Yogi Yunjita Sadatam Atmanam Rahasi Stita Ekaki Yata Chitatma Nirashir Aparigraha Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stita Ekaki Yata Chitatma Nirashir Aparigraha. Translation. A transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on the Supreme Self. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Krishna is realized in different degrees as Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we don't have the text on the screen right now to follow along the purport. But that's okay, because our business is Shravanam, hearing, which means we don't need eyes, really. We need ears, most of all. Sorry? Oh yeah, of course. If there is some interest in the heart, naturally, then one can pay greater attention. St. Augustine called it the primacy of will in knowledge, which means that essentially, if you want to know something, you have to be interested, you have to care. So if you love something or someone, then you'll be most interested. So this hearing process is very effective when we can give rapt attention. And how can we do that? If we have some purity of consciousness, which means that if we have some love for God, we will be interested in hearing something about God. This is a result of purification. In other words, the more we hear and chant, the better we get at hearing and chanting. Because more purification is effected. So let's try to hear Prabhupada has written the purport. He is explaining to us, he is describing to us, and by hearing from him, we can be benefited, immensely benefited. So he says here, Krishna is realized in different degrees as Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm going to read the purport once, and then I'm going to read it twice in a little bit of depth, going in a little deeper. Krishna consciousness means, concisely, to be always engaged in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. But those who are attached to the impersonal Brahman, or the localized Supersoul, are also partially Krishna conscious, because impersonal Brahman is the spiritual ray of Krishna, and Supersoul is the all-pervading partial expansion of Krishna. Thus, the impersonalist and the meditator are also indirectly Krishna conscious. A directly Krishna conscious person is the topmost transcendentalist, because such a devotee knows what is meant by Brahman or Paramatma. His knowledge of the Absolute Truth is perfect, whereas the impersonalist and the meditative yogi are imperfectly Krishna conscious. Nevertheless, all of these are instructed herewith to be constantly engaged in their particular pursuits, so that they may come to the highest perfection sooner or later. The first business of a transcendentalist is to keep the mind always on Krishna. One should always think of Krishna and not forget him, even for a moment. Concentration of the mind on the Supreme is called samadhi, or trance. In order to concentrate the mind, one should always remain in seclusion and avoid disturbance by external objects. He should be very careful to accept favorable and reject unfavorable conditions that affect his realization. And in perfect determination, he should not hanker after unnecessary material things that entangle him by feelings of possessiveness. All these perfections and precautions are perfectly executed when one is directly in Krishna consciousness, because direct Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation, wherein there is very little chance for material possessiveness. Srila Rupa Goswami characterizes Krishna consciousness in this way, and this is a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 255 to 256. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagya muchyate prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam palgu katyate. The meaning is, when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. A Krishna-conscious person well knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feelings of personal possession. As such, he has no hankering for anything on his own personal account. He knows how to accept things in favor of Krishna consciousness, and how to reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. He is always aloof from material things because he is always transcendental. And he is always alone, having nothing to do with persons not in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupakaramayam Darati Svaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamschai. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kolpatrubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatare Shatarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripata Maham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let me just get my verse book out in case I need it. So Srila Prabhupada again and again brings us to the point of the perfection of yoga. However we want to characterize yoga, however we want to describe it in all of its different apparent forms and types. Yes, this kind of yoga, that kind of yoga, right? Hatha yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Kundalini yoga, Raja yoga. Yeah. There may be so many invented names for different kinds of yogas according to the exponent of the particular type. But really, the ultimate point of yoga is to be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna or Vishnu, same person, God. So one who is Krishna conscious is a perfect yogi. One who is perfectly Krishna conscious is the most perfect yogi. Krishna will make that very clear at the end of this chapter when he says, Samme yuktatamo mata. How does that verse begin? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatinantaratmana shatavan bhajate yomam samme yuktatamo mata. Of all yogis, the one who is always thinking of me within, who abides in me with full faith and worships me with firm determination, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Sama yuktatamo mataha. That's my opinion. Right, this is Krishna's opinion. So many people have opinions about what is yoga and who's a yogi. Well, God, who is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all yogis, this is his opinion. That one who loves me, always thinks of me, and is engaged in my transcendental loving service is the greatest yogi. That's Yogeshwara's opinion. So devotees who are all day, every day, thinking about pleasing Krishna, satisfying his senses, they are the greatest yogis, even if they never stretch their legs in their whole life. So let's go through this purport again, because all of Srila Prabhupada's purports deserve close inspection. Just briefly going again to text 9, because we're speaking on 9 and 10. A yogi who is absorbed in thoughts of the Lord and who sees everything in Krishna and Krishna in everything does not create friends or enemies in the material world. He may think that, okay, someone is behaving towards me in a friendly way, someone else is behaving towards me in an inimical way, but I do not consider them my friend or enemy. And certainly I am not partial toward either. I am equal to all, he says. A person is said to be further advanced in yoga when he regards everybody, an honest well-wisher, a friend, an enemy, someone who is envious, someone who is pious, a sinner, and those who are indifferent. He sees all of them with an equal mind. Yes? Let's get that verse from Sri Upanishad. I think it's text 5 or 6. Sorry, bear with me. From the Upanishads, Chanjogya, Upadeshamrita. Yes, mantra 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atman jivanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijugupsate. He who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as Krishna's parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything nor any being. Right? Seeing that Krishna as the Supersoul is within everybody's heart, whether they are inimical, whether they're friendly, whether they are a sinner or a saint, Krishna is in everybody's heart. And therefore, seeing how Krishna and the soul is in the heart of everybody, he does not hate anything nor any being. And then mantra 7 of Ishupanishad says, Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva abhud vijanata tatra ko moha kashoka ekatvam anupashyata. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So even though someone may apparently be very pious or very sinful, or a big demon, or envious of me, or very friendly toward me, the yogi will see that this person is actually a spiritual spark, one in quality with the Supreme Lord, the same in quality with the Supreme Lord. You have a question? Okay.
I understand that the mind, the soul is Krishna, but do you have to love each ego? Do you have to love that ego? Because that's what's on the surface that there is.
You don't have to love their ego.
But you love what they truly are behind them.
A yogi will, because a yogi loves Krishna, he loves everything connected to Krishna. And because every soul is part and parcel of Krishna, he loves every soul. He loves every soul. If that soul happens to be manifesting in this material body, nice qualities, saintly qualities, then he can appreciate that. He can appreciate that these qualities come from Krishna. And if that soul happens to be behaving badly in his temporary machine, under these material conditions, he sees that those qualities, those evil qualities, are simply the temporary covering of the soul's godly qualities. In the soul's original state, godly state, the soul is filled with all good qualities. Yes, which essentially means that the soul is not envious of anybody, right? Does not wish anybody ill, right? A perfect soul, a perfected or liberated soul, bears no ill will toward anyone. That is a godly state. Krishna later on in the Bhagavad Gita outlines all of the divine qualities, and then he also lists all of the demoniac qualities. And the demoniac qualities essentially amount to thinking that I am the Lord of all I survey, and anybody who tries to, suggest otherwise will receive my ill will. That's basically what it amounts to. I will put down any competitor. I will prove that I am supreme. That's essentially the demoniac nature. So a true yogi will see that even though that demoniac nature may be manifested, that is not the original nature of that soul. That is just their temporary illusion. They're in illusion, they're thinking like that and behaving like that. Because of impure consciousness, they want to rule the world, or at least their little patch of world. But a true yogi will see that inside that demon is a pure spark of spirit who has the capacity for loving God and loving all others. And then the yogi will either attempt to uplift that entity or leave well alone, depending on the conditions, the opportunity. Generally, preachers are not recommended to approach the envious, because if you feed a snake milk and bananas, its poison only increases. If you tell them, hey, you're a spirit soul and you belong with Krishna and you will be happy if you take to his devotional service, that demoniac entity will simply become enraged. So better to let them be. Yes, and that they'll follow the natural course of their own evolution till they come one day, in one lifetime, to the point of having the opportunity to hear that good advice and act on it. But those who are innocent or simply ignorant of the truth, but receptive, one may try to give them knowledge and wake them from their slumber. Yes. Seeing that there's a spark of spirit there, I must fan that spark. I must fan the spark of transcendental knowledge that is lying dormant in that person. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but...
I don't know, it just, obviously with what's happening in the world right now, there's so much evil. I know
so much ego?
soul is God. But there's, I don't know how you deal with these evil.
You don't know how you deal with
The evil that is in the world.
the evil? Yes, well, the best way to deal with the evil in the world is to take shelter of the anti-evil. Because we cannot dispel the evil in the world. We're tiny little jivas. We're insignificant living entities. What can we do? We can hardly tell our family members what they should do. Yeah? How are we going to tell the demons that call the shots?
But with Krishna, I guess it's hard to know, but with Krishna, rid the world of the evil, or would he...
Eventually, yes. He does that from time to time. Just like this Bhagavad Gita is spoken just before ridding the world of its burden. Yeah, it was called the Kurukshetra War. And Krishna accumulated all of these personalities, all of these demonic kings and their heavy armed forces, and wholesale removed them from the face of the earth. Wholesale. So sometimes it takes a little time for the fruit to ripen. So many sinful activities are going on, right? Slaughtering cows by the thousands, by the millions, day after day, year after year. What is the payment? And when is it due? It will be due. Wholesale. So yes, in time, there's always the reckoning, wholesale reckoning, eventually. You know, every several decades, some big war. So many human beings are sent to their death at the whim of some despot.
I just wonder whether they could be redeemed, or whether a soul turns so much away from God that they can't come back.
Everybody is redeemable, but it may take others longer than some. There's an evolutionary journey going on, an evolutionary journey by consciousness, and by consciousness we get a body, yes, that may be of a higher or lower life form. So the demigods in the higher planets, they have very high level of consciousness and they get a suitable body. Yeah. The animals have a more degraded type of body, like the pig, for example. What does it do all day? What is it interested in? What is the pig occupied with? Food and sex. Who does it have sex with? Any other pig. Doesn't matter. Could be its own family member. What does it eat? Right? Okay, it eats. There are so many words for it. Anyway, it eats stool. Yeah, that is food for a hog, food for a pig. So what kind of consciousness do you have to be in to deserve the body of a pig? It's a degraded form of life. Yes, you offer the pig some halava and rasgullas, it's not interested. Pardon? Pearls before swine, yeah.
They won't understand and go there.
Sure. So degraded forms of life, and if they are determined to avoid God, then God will help them by sending them into lower and lower forms of life and species and places. There are 14 levels of planetary system in this universe. And the nether regions are where one goes because it's easy to forget all about God there. Yeah, they may enjoy or not enjoy, but they have no idea of any supreme being that controls them. Whereas in the heavenly planets, they're very aware that Vishnu is our master. But it's an evolutionary turn. Those that are degraded can be elevated, and those that are elevated can be degraded if they do not take care of their elevation. It's like a merry-go-round. You go to heaven, but if you get distracted by all of the facility for enjoyment in heaven, then you can be degraded and fall back down into a more abominable type of living condition. The purpose of elevation is to come to the point of Krishna consciousness, the perfection of yoga. That is the purpose of going up. So in Lord Brahma's planet, then they're very aware of the Lord. And at the time of the universal destruction, right, when it's time to wind everything up, because it only lasts a certain amount of time, 311 trillion years by our calculation, 100 years of Lord Brahma's life. When his lifespan is up, if he is in the right consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, he returns to the spiritual world with his associates. But if they, for whatever reason, have some unfinished business, they want to remain here to achieve something, get something, enjoy something, then they come back during the next creation to again take up a life of manipulating material energy. And again, if they're not careful to elevate the consciousness, then they can be degraded. We were just hearing in Krishna book how this personality, Vidyadhara, he was a demigod, and he had attained the body of a serpent. So when Krishna's father and the community, they were visiting Ambikavana for Shivaratri, in the nighttime, Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father, was attacked by this snake. So he called out to Krishna to save him. And Krishna touched that snake with his lotus feet, and immediately from the body of the serpent came this demigod, Vidyadhara, and the Lord asked him, so what happened? How did you end up here? How did you get this body? He said, I was very proud in my previous life of my beauty. I was exquisitely beautiful. I was very puffed up about it. So when I was traveling in my airplane, passing by this sage, Angira, and he had ugly features, and I laughed at him. I, derided him for his ugliness. So he cursed me to become a snake. And actually that curse of the sage Angira was a blessing, because ultimately the snake got the touch of Krishna. This is the nature of the curse of great sages. But the point is that he was in a very elevated position. He was a demigod and he was exquisitely beautiful. But because he was proud, and envious. He actually admitted that I was sinful. I was sinful because I had this envy. Otherwise, why would he have derided Angira? You're so beautiful. Why do you have to pick on somebody who's ugly? If you're so beautiful, why do you have to pick on the ugly person? Be a little humble. You got a little beauty because of something good that you did, and Krishna gave you a beautiful body. Congratulations. Let everybody else live. Someone wasn't so fortunate. They didn't get such nice features. Why do you have to go, picking on them and laughing and deriding and making yourself, if you're actually superior, then why is it necessary to point out anybody else's fault? You don't need to do that if you're actually in a superior position. So he was envious. Therefore, even the beautiful person had to pick on the not beautiful person. But he was in an exalted status of life. He was a demigod. But he made this mistake, and then he ended up in the body of a snake. But he was lucky because he got Krishna's association, so he was liberated from that condition. But many may not be as fortunate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that those who are demoniac, I cast them into various degraded species of life. And they can't get out. Because that's where their direction of travel takes them. And when they get when they contact a Vaishnava, because Krishna's devotees are going everywhere in this material world to distribute mercy. So when the demoniac entities get some little contact with the Vaishnava, then they're a little, a glimmer of light, a way out opens up. Some connection, some.
Every demonic force is here to learn something for them to.
Ultimately, everybody is here to learn that I am not God, someone else is. And I'll be happy when I come to terms with that and enter a relationship with the God.
But within each demonic force is the pure essence of God.
Within every demonic entity, there is a pure spirit soul. Just like you might have a diamond caked in crud, coal, mud, whatever you want to call it. Take away the layers and you'll find a diamond. Okay? But to remove those crud-like layers requires a method, a purification of consciousness. So by the association of devotees of Krishna who speak about Krishna, by that vibration, then one's consciousness can be purified. One can be uplifted. And therefore Srila Prabhupada left us all of these books to give us his association, so that by hearing that message, we can be saved from ourselves, saved from our own minds and the direction of travel. The unfortunate direction of travel, which is in this Kali Yuga very much down. But we want to go up and ultimately out. That's where we want to go. Okay? Does anybody have anything else? No? Okay, let's just go over the purport again. So Krishna has realized, this is text 10 now. A transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on the Supreme Self. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. So let's understand this rightly. In the ancient system of yoga, it was necessary to go to a secluded place, a lonely place like the forest, to avoid any association that would influence one's consciousness in a materialistic way. Yes, and so to do that, one would avoid too much, connection with others that would drag one down, right? Go to a place where you can be peaceful. No one's disturbing you. Your kids aren't, knocking on your door and asking you for this and that every 5 seconds, right? So they would go somewhere where they could concentrate on the Lord. In this day and age, it's not practical, not possible. So how to do it? We do it by keeping ourselves in saintly association. Right? That's the real import of living alone in this day and age. Keep yourself in saintly association and avoid demonic association. Asat Sangha, that which is degrading. Avoid it. It'll drag you down. We don't want to be dragged down. We want to be helped and uplifted. How do you carefully control your mind? You have to give it something sweet to focus on. You have to give it something spiritually relishable. That's how you control your mind. Otherwise, it's uncontrollable. So Krishna tells Arjuna that you can control your mind by suitable practice and detachment. It means keep trying. Your mind is always thinking of this and that, running here and there. You sit down to meditate, chant Hare Krishna, and your mind is constantly leading you away up the garden path. Bring it back to the sound of Krishna's holy name. Bring it back to Krishna's message. Bring it back to the intention to satisfy Krishna by your service. Refocus, refocus, refocus. So Prabhupada says, Krishna is realized as Brahman, Paramatma, and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna consciousness means to be always engaged in the loving service, transcendental loving service of the Lord. Right? Then he goes on to say that those who have realized or are meditating on Krishna's impersonal energy, or the localized expansion of Krishna, the Supersoul, they're also Krishna conscious, but indirectly. They're not perfectly Krishna conscious. To be perfectly Krishna conscious, we have to recognize that there is a source of everything. Everything comes from, not something, no. Everything comes from someone. And that someone is Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, who is full with all opulences. And that Krishna, that Supreme Person, he expands himself everywhere. He goes everywhere because he's not a limited person. He's a spiritual and unlimited person. Right? I'm stuck here in this body, but Krishna's not stuck in any body. Krishna doesn't have a material body. Krishna is his spiritual body. And Krishna's spiritual body is unlimited. It goes everywhere. How does it go everywhere? He enters into the heart of every entity. Inside each of our hearts is the super soul. It's not me. I'm not the super soul. I'm the jiva, jivatma. But right next to me in this heart is Paramatma, the super soul. So in this way, Krishna personally enters into everything. And not only that, what is the nature of the thing into which he enters? I can say Krishna enters into everything. But what is everything? If I say Krishna as Paramatma enters even into every atom, personally, if you could manage somehow to create a microscope that could peer into every atom, if it was possible, you would see the form of Paramatma, four-handed Vishnu. But what is the everything into which he has entered? It's nothing but his own energy. It is Brahman. Is impersonal energy. So knowing that, or realizing Krishna's impersonal energy, yes, that is not sufficient. Or even realizing Paramatma in your own heart is not sufficient. One has to ultimately realize Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, who is the source of everything. So the perfect yogi comes to the platform of realizing that Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, the source of everything, and engaging in an intimate, loving relationship with him. Okay, we're soon going to have Arti. Any final question? Are we clear about the real perfection of yoga, which is to ultimately meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead and love Him? That is the actual purpose of yoga. And the best way to perform yoga in this day and age is to chant Krishna's holy names. This process was given by Krishna himself when he came 500 years ago as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he taught everybody to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This process is so perfect that simply by doing this, one can realize God and one's relationship with God. Thank you very much. All glories to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now we'll have Gaur Arti.
राधा गोकुलानंद की जोर से बोलिए सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की गौर निताय भगवान की की बजायो जयो गौरव चंदेर आरती का शोभा सब लोग ऊपर देख सकते हैं, इधर में लिखा हुआ एक एक लाइन के बाद में, ठीक है। की बजायो जयो गौरव चांदे आरती का शोभा जागमान लोभा दक्षिण निताई चांदा वामे गदा था दक्षिण निताई चांदा वामे गदाधर बोलिए सब बोलो वास छत्रधारा बासे अच्छे गौरव चंद्र रत्न सिंह शान बासे अच्छे गौरव चंद्र रत्न सिंह शान स्तुति करे नाम आदिदेव गण नार हरि आदि करी चमर डुला नार हरि अधिकारी चमर डुलाय संजया मुकुंद वसु गोसयादिगाया संजया मुकुंद पासी गोसयादिगाया शंख बजे घंटा बजे बाजे करताल शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंख हे माधुरा मृदंगा हे परमारशाला हे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल चंद्र जिणी वादन उज्ज्वल कोटि चंद्र जिणी वदन उज्ज्वल जल देशे वन माला कर जल माला जल देशे वन माला कर जल माला शिव सुकना राधा प्रेम गाद गाधा शिव सुख नारदा प्रेम गाद भगति विनोद देखे घोर संपदाय हे गौरांगे आरती की शोभा जग जान मान लोभा गौरांगे आरती की शोभा जग जान मान लोभा गौरांग जग जान मान लोभा जग जान मान लोभा जय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय जय गौरांग निताय बोलो जय गौरांग हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गोनिताय संध्या आरती की जोर से बोलो जोर से कम ऑन यू अब प्रसाद मिलेगा जोर से बोलिए गोनिताय संध्या आरती की जोर से गोनिताय संध्या आरती की गोकुलानंद भगवान की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवेंद्र जय श्री Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gora Bhaktivedanta Jayotri Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, bole sab bole. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we sing, we are going another planet, spiritual planet. Keep in mind that's the only way. There's no rocket, there's no aeroplane will take you, only this one. So please, serious and sing, okay? I request you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What's it? Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Bolo. Jayo Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Jayo Gaurav Nitai, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Baja. Jayo, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. गोनिताय संध्या आरती की सब लोग ऊपर हाथ, भगवान ने हाथ दिया ऊपर करो, एकदम ऊपर जैसे लड़ाई झगड़े में करते हैं ना, जब हम हार जाते हैं तो क्या बोलते हैं यू फील्ड में, हैंड्स अप, राइट? तो वी आर, हम सब हार गए ये दुनिया से। जोर से बोलिए राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की, अंदर अंदर आत्मा से जोर से बोलो राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की, गोनिताय की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, अयोध्या धाम की, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी की, भगवद गीता की, कुरुक्षेत्र की, ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की, जो बोले निताय परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, everybody can have a seat. नीचे बैठिए, 5 मिनट नरसिंह प्रार्थना होगी, उसके बाद में प्रसाद. After 5 minutes you can have prasad. We're going to have another 5 more minutes to sing the prayer. Thank you very much.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Ladadaine.
रामदेव भगवान की जय, महाराज की
जय।
So Hare Krishna. So we will have now Kirtan up until 9:30. So please stay if you so wish.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe Sitaram 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 Jaya Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jai Gaura Premanande Shrinam Sankirtana Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki